Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome along to the Jackocar Cup Series for the second time this week. And isn't it just typical that after Tuesday night brought us at random Great Britain reverse, that on Thursday, once again completely at random, we get put on the correct version of Great Britain, as some would say. So yes, this has become yet another Silverstone week in the Jackocar Cup Series. It is season 12. It's rounds 3 and 4 for Silverstone. Not quite round 5, which is where it normally goes, but you know, ChatGPT got relatively close, so we'll still take it. Or as Jacko was just called in the chat, Reform Week, we could call it that as well. He can call it that, but I'll let him speak in a minute. I'm your confident Owen Wyatt. Yep. I'm your confident Owen Wyatt, and Jacko, the Reform voter himself. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Silverstone. It's like we've never left, quite literally. Yes, I did call it Reform Week because it's as you said pre-stream, very on brand for Jackocar, so why not? This evening, Owen, I gave the drivers an option. You can either have option A, or you can have option B, which would eliminate option A from being picked in the future of this calendar. And they all were, would you believe it, all of them were like, oh, let's have a bit of integrity and go with option A. Option A is Great Britain, and then the reaction is, oh, that's boring. And I showed them what they could have won. It could have been Monza. And they're all wishing that they were racing in Monza. So there you go. Sometimes take option B. That's the moral of the story here.
But then at the same time, you could end up with Monza as the penultimate race of the season, you know, like we had in previous times, and then that could be very exciting. So maybe their decision will come back and reward them later on. For us, it'll give us, and for the drivers, I suppose, it'll give us a sort of direct comparison as well between Tuesday's race and this race, because obviously one track is going the reverse layout and one's going the forward layout. And tyre wear was extremely high on Tuesday, so I wonder what the differences will be here. Obviously, a lot of the difficult left-hand corners are now going to be difficult right-hand corners, and you may just have fluctuations in tyre wear. And so we'll see how things pan out. And I do believe Jimmy Griffiths is here now. He cannot take his Joker, even though he's on the track. He would have taken it on Tuesday, but since he didn't bother showing up for his own Joker, and there's no Jokers tonight, he's gonna have to lose out on that. I think he will still be second on track or first on track. There's maybe someone in front of him, but we'll see a little bit of him tonight anyway, which is nice at least.
Yep. Jokers. If Florian was racing, he was the round 4 Joker. Obviously not here this evening, so there is no Joker at all. When I put out the information to for the drivers to pick their Jokers. Obviously you couldn't have around 9 or 10 or 17, so with those 3 aside, the drivers managed to somehow make sure there was at least one person on every other race week that could be picked. Obviously last week and this week, Tuesday and today, the Jokers have failed us, so never mind. But I thought that was quite a little interesting stat. 14 out of 14 tracks selected on a random mystery pick Joker selection. And
as you say, the extraordinary result that somehow we have a whole week with nothing. So yes, I guess we're sort of going back to the roots of a one hub 2 stop. So I wonder if people who did their one hub race at Silverstone this season may well have had a bit of practice at that. Granted, that was in the wet, but this could also be in the wet. At least, unlike one hub, we don't decide the weather for them, which I still think is a bit ridiculous. But if I tell Nick that too often, he might just kick me out. So we'll have that argument some other day. The rain isn't looking like it's going to fall during this qualifying session. Obviously, on Tuesday, by this point, it was already arguably too wet for the dries, and Wes Kuba, luckily, got his lap in on time and took his first ever pole position. He was then wiped out of the race by Robin. He put his clip of that murder into the group chat earlier, and I must say it was just as impressive as I was hoping it was going to be. And I imagine Gareth probably enjoyed watching that plenty. Where is Wace? Is Wace, he is on track, so you'll see a little bit of him later on, but as you can see, we are currently on board with MK Bourne. You're not going to see Johannes in this qualifying session. He's out basically just to put a setup on, isn't he? And he'll then come in and retire. Because he won on Tuesday with a last lap overtake on Casper, who had a massive sort of slide coming onto the Wellington Straight, which was quite unfortunate. But that'll give him a chance to redeem himself tonight. You could argue he shouldn't have been at the front anyway. He sort of locked into it, didn't he, with a safety car. But I mean, if you're going to goal hind for it, I suppose if you are brave enough to be the last pawn into the pits, maybe you do deserve to be at the front. But either way, it'll give us an interesting race tonight to see if anyone else copies him. Obviously no jokers, so everyone's on the same strategy. As MK Bourne comes through the final couple of corners now, a little bit late on the brakes into the chicane and a little bit twitchy on the exit, and we're already a fair few seconds quicker than pole position was on Tuesday. The wonders of a dry track.
Absolutely. I was thinking as well, with Waze's antics on Tuesday night, does that now encourage drivers to get out early, just get a lap in, regardless of the weather conditions, and then come back in and go out for another run? Some of the drivers are saying it's not enough time, but I guess if you have a setup ready for the track, not that you know what the track is going to be, there is just about enough time to do 2 runs. However, Owen, I think it's back to the good old days of F1 22, where you can do 2 back-to-back hot laps.
I've not seen what happened here to Wace, but I'm suspecting that's into the pit wall, Ollie Behrman style. And he's out of qualifying, so he'll have gone from pole position on Tuesday to potentially last on Thursday. And I wonder how many times that's happened in Cup Series history. I'm sure probably not a common occurrence. As Yuri starts his lap, Gareth Hall looks like he's actually, I think for what must be the first time this season, looks like he's actually going to take part in qualifying. Unbelievably. I think Tuesday must have scarred him as well. He doesn't want to have that happen to him again.
I personally am on board with his speed affiliate in the form of Yuri Hazelager, who I believe has invalidated his lap. But the only reason I'm bringing attention to him is because he was last season's race winner here, where he famously said, "Reigning in the land of the British," which nobody was a fan of. But
that sounds like such a ChatGPT thing, that actually. I'm sure you and him will work together quite well on the ChatGPT. Just everything, really. If we're doing the Challenger 5 build-up, we'll need him to be bringing those lines back up again.
Possibly, but I did ask him post-race, I was like, did you plan to say that? Obviously not knowing he would win, but he said no, it just come out as he crossed the line, so good for Yuri Hazelager. Got his, I'm going to be bold here and say he's got his final race win in Jackocar here last season, but you never know what things can throw up around here. The only thing that must be said, Owen, is that a couple of drivers in the chat have already called a Jake O'Sullivan win, which we don't want.
No, we certainly don't. It's not that we don't like Jake O'Sullivan. It's just that we don't like.
Boring, isn't it?
It's just we don't like the fact that he really is, let's be honest, just the best driver here, isn't he? So we just want a bit of variety, really. We'll see how he gets on. I mean, I suppose as long as he makes it entertaining, I don't really care. But he just doesn't make things entertaining anymore. When I was on track, we had all sorts of fights and arguments, so maybe that could be the answer. But I'm not allowed to race at the minute, so because I might knock Michael Okeke out of the championship. So let's just watch Michael. I was going to follow him for a lap with a car that has a stable rear end, because we watched so much of him on Tuesday with the car just not working for him, and I got a bit annoyed that he didn't take Jake O'Sullivan out of the race actually when he was spinning off at Stowe. So well, I'll try not to get annoyed at him this week. Let's just hope his car stays in one piece, and let's hope we can see a clean lap, because I was watching him earlier on and he went invalid at turn 1, so this will be his only lap really of qualifying
Yuri
this,
off.
won't it? And Yuri is off. Luckily, he already has a time on the board. Granted, it is the slowest full pace lap of the session. Can't see how much time there is on the clock because he's causing the yellow flag that blocks the timer. Great UI design that is, but I would have to assume we're below 10 minutes by now. And so that'll more than likely be the end of his qualifying session. You cannot start a lap if you're in the bottom half of the field, and we are under 10 minutes. In the bottom half of the field, you cannot start a lap after the 10-minute
And you know
point.
what, Owen? I think I might actually change that rule and make it 9 minutes, but be back in for 7. Whereas at the moment it's 10 and back in for 8. Just to give an extra minute, because in fairness, I mean, Pete Knighton, his slot is 8:45 to come out. So if people are still going round 7 minutes, it's not going to affect Pete's hot lap, as they'll all be coming in. So I think they can be given an extra minute. One to discuss with our stewarding friends post-race, as Ben Harrett peels off into the pit lane. So that will bring everybody in. Bazza is on a lap.
He's on an in-lap, I believe.
He is on an in-lap.
Bazza, who currently sits second place ahead of Gareth, the top three there. Ben, Bazza and Gareth separated by just over half a tenth. Let's see if the top 8... it never ends up with the whole top 9. There's always someone missing, isn't there? But the top 8, we'll see how they get on. See if they can get involved in that group.
Tony Kirkpatrick away this week. That's why you've only got the fast 8 rather than the fast 9. Speaking of Tony, he reminds me of Casper, not in a accent sort of way. The reason he reminds me of him is because he and Casper and Arnaud are people that can win races, that we know can win races, but haven't yet done so this season. So there's definitely more race winners to come from this, as we are on free race winners in free races, in true Jackocar fashion, the same free race winners from this time last season. So if we're going to follow form, that means Johannes is going to come through from the back and do the double in Reform Week.
And that would be very exciting to see the Germans, who obviously... Andy, can I make the joke? They're Nazis, basically, aren't they? So...
Okay, that one. Fair enough.
Well, if we're going to call this Reform Week, we're very much going the same way as them, aren't we? So... wouldn't it be typical for the Germans to make their way up to the front?
It's not the word I had in mind.
What word did you have in mind?
I had the Jerry's.
Right.
He went slightly more aggressive. But
I think I went with a word people might understand.
No, I'll allow it. It's Jackocar. You say as you wish. It's my last season as well, so it really doesn't matter anymore. Gareth is looking to try and inherit the league. So I'm going to leave it burning for him, especially with comments like that. Oh dear, what's Pete Knighton doing then? Is he on his lap or out lap? He's on his lap. So I was just watching Corey's car in the pit.
Yes, followed him all the way around the out lap. He's looking to replicate what he did on Tuesday and qualify on the front row. Although the car looks very twitchy as he heads through Woodcut, I believe that is. So that's not going to help his case. He should have finished, 5th on Tuesday, but he got a penalty right towards the end. But the underlying point there is that he did seem to have some pace. So hopefully if Pete can just keep it clean, not spin off on the first lap, maybe we'll see him attempt to win on the 186th attempt.
Let's just verify that number whilst we're here, whilst he completes his lap. Pete Knighton is currently on a 186 race non-winning streak. So yeah, for the record, Tuesday night, Johannes, who has had about 11 P2s, broke a 19 run of winless races. Pete's on 186. That's nearly 10 times the amount of races since Unbelievable, isn't it? As he goes P4.
I mean, as I keep saying to you, Jacko, and it seems to blow your mind every time I say it, it's been over 5 years since he won a race.
Yeah,
It's been 11
baffles me.
seasons since he won a race. 11 seasons since he was champion as well, as a result of that. His weight seat invalidates his lap. That will guarantee Pete a top 10 start, I believe, so... And it'll also condemn weight seat to the bottom half of the field. But yeah, Pete... I mean, it's impressive consistency that he's even been about for that many races since his last win. Certainly someone who's in for the ride, but he really does need to win one at some point.
He's stuck now, isn't he? When it comes to Cup Series races, Cup Series starts, nobody tops Pete Knighton. Tonight is 191. As for all time, so Cup and Kia combined, your man is Yuri Hazelager, where tonight combined is 246 starts. I assume, Owen, you are riding on board or looking at Ben Shaw.
We are indeed looking at him.
And Ben Shaw, this is not relevant, but 153rd start tonight. The reason it's relevant is because, well, the reason he's relevant is because he was finally toppled by Arnaud de Grief last week. Not last week, Tuesday, I keep saying it. As the highest point scorer all time in the league, as he goes P1.
I think people are still using hot lap here for their qualifying, because we're seeing the sort of traditional run out of ERS deployment, not actually running out of battery, but running out of the deployment. You can see the red sort of semicircle there at the bottom of Risky's HUD on the left-hand side under his battery. When that fills all the way, you can't use ERS anymore, and so that's why you'll see people sort of say deploy, gone or whatever. If you just run in medium and then use overtake on the straights rather than using hot lap than overtake, that should give you enough energy. You also deploy less energy when you're on medium, because you can see with what Risky's got now, he's got basically nothing left for the last sector. It just means you can have a pretty slow run out of the last corner. It might not be relevant, but if qualifying ends up close, it could come down to who's not got any energy left, and you can see deploy used there for Risky. He goes fastest by well over a second, so he's given that some.
It looked really good out the final corner, and then he had that twitch. But obviously had enough time in hand to topple Ben Shaw.
I'll give a good target for the top four to go for. Casper first, followed by Jake Arnold and Corey. But yeah, let's see what Casper's tactic is. He's obviously going mad with the overtake on the way down to Cobbs, and as you can see, he is on medium. I think that is sort of, let's say, the meta on this game, because it just means you're using less ERS when you're not on overtake, and medium gives you pretty much as much deployment as hot lap does anyway, so there's no reason to use hot lap ever, which isn't it's a Codemaster's problem, that, but if you know how to take advantage of it, pole position could be coming your way. It's also that actually I've said to Ron Finch, it's actually the green sort of counter beside the battery. That's the one. If that goes to the bottom, you're out of deployment, and so you can see Casper's got loads left. He's going to go fastest. So yeah, it's actually that green part of the HUD. I wish the way in America on Fox you can just draw a circle around what you're talking about. Really need that right now, because I am making a hash of explaining this. But
it's okay.
I know what I'm talking about. Casper knows what I'm talking about, and that's why he's P1. Jake O'Sullivan's next. Let's see how he gets on. He's using hot lap.
It's okay, Owen, because I still keep referring to Tuesday's race as last week. So, and I think that's going to be very much the form for the next 2 weeks as well, as we have 3 back-to-back weeks of Jackocar as we try and hurry up proceedings of the regular season. But initially, we are going to look at tonight's race winner, as has been called by a handful of drivers, Jake O'Sullivan, the 3-time champion, looking for race win number 26. He didn't get to qualify on Tuesday, and today he goes P3 with Arnaud and Corey to go.
Jake O'Sullivan 1 second off the pace. Just doesn't happen very often, does it? Casper and Risky have really they know what they're doing, which is nice to see. Arnaud, I feel like he's been a bit unlucky not to win a race this season, and we always end up going on about his luck, don't we? It eventually changed for him in Australia last season, but as you can see, he's lost half of his front wing, so this isn't going to be anywhere near the front. So actually, really, we should be looking at Corey Dalton. Let's get as much of his lap in as possible. Didn't get to see him in qualifying on Tuesday because he won in Monaco. Same reason why we don't see Johannes today, because he won on Tuesday. If you win the last race, you can't take part in qualifying. So whoever wins this race will not be in qualifying next week. And I tell you what, Corey nearly losing it all the way through Cups there. Arnaud with damage just behind Jake. That's not a bad result. You'd expect Corey to be at least in the top 3. And with that middle sector time, he looks like he's on course for it. I don't think he's on course for P1 though. Not with how difficult that car looked through Cups. But we'll ride on board as he throws the car in. The rear end really just not playing ball with him at all there. Into the last chicane. Bit late on the brakes, maybe a bit too late on the brakes. Loses speed all the way through. Coming up to the line. 26.3 to beat. Doesn't manage it. He's 4/10 of a second off. Casper is on pole here in Silverstone. And Arnaud, let's say, with that front wing damage, I think he'll take a P5. That's who we're stuck watching now. But that's qualifying.
Yeah, Casper with his 12th pole time. And there he is, number 1. Number 2, he had pace on Tuesday, but what a lap, Sullivan Lewis. That's fantastic from him. And I don't think it's a one-off either, obviously Tuesday, but he sits P6 in the standings, Owen. That's what we're going to call best of the rest.
Well, he was P4, wasn't he, on merit? Wasn't on Tuesday, wasn't he? So
great lap.
To start high up the grid as well, he'll be definitely targeting that top 5. Obviously, we joked that he only has one good race per season, but
every season as well. We say.
Every season, but it has to be said, actually, that's not really true, is it? Because there have been seasons where he has put up genuine sort of title chances, and I think, what was it? Was it the chase last season or the season before that he really should have won, but just sort of got pipped? I think everyone could have won that chase last season, though, in fairness. It was a very, very competitive chase.
It was the chase nobody wanted to win, wasn't it?
Even Baza, and he won a race, and he won the race. He missed out by a couple of points. It was just one of those. But Risky was certainly one of the drivers in contention for that, I believe.
Yeah, and speaking of the chase, the format has changed this season. I'll tell you what, as we've got a minute, shall we run the good listeners of Jackocar through the chase format? I think we should.
I think we really need to, yeah.
Yeah, so the bottom 10 after the regular season, that's bottom 10 point scorers, 11th down to 20th. It makes 4 drivers immune from any championship run, which is why we're fearing for OKK. Round 11, 12 and 13, which we're calling the round of 10, through rounds 11 and 12 there are no eliminations, but then 2 are eliminated in round 13. Round 14, or race 14, which is the round of 8, 2 more drivers get eliminated. Round 15, which is the round of 6, 2 drivers get eliminated. And then race number 16, so this is before the Championship 5, there is a mini Championship 4, where 3 drivers get eliminated and 1 advances to the Championship 5 and makes up the chase driver for the title, essentially. So there's a mini championship before the actual championship, which makes it exciting, and also, rather than having people drop out of the chase, sort of drop into the chase, I should say, people like Leroy, Pete Knighton, that have done it before, Jake O'Sullivan, Ben Shaw even, and dominating it, they risk being put into that race with 3 other drivers, and it's first across the line. So the idea of that is it should make the playoffs more appealing to the faster drivers, and then lets the scrubs battle it out for the chase title.
Well, this is a thing, because I think it's not unfair to say, even if you win the chase, your chances of winning the actual championship are quite low, really, aren't they? Still, so to give them a proper sort of championship fight of their own that still has the same ending would be good fun, because it'd be good to see, I don't know, peak to win another title, but it's only a chase title. Do you know what I mean? But you know, just something like that. Yeah, giving it a proper one-off race, because it also means that throughout that chase, we actually have pretty much every race has some jeopardy in it. So you don't have those sort of throwaway races in the middle. It's pretty much full action all the way to the end, isn't it?
Yeah, just round 11 and 12, where there's a bit of relief before anybody gets eliminated, and of course that is points based. So points based up until the mini championship 4. What would be exciting is, let's take, I don't know, random name, Ben Harrah, for example. Say he finds himself in the chase. He goes to the Championship 4, wins it. Okay, he then goes into the championship race 1 week later in Mexico, wins it. Imagine winning 2. You've got to win 2 races. Well, you don't have to, really, but it would be a good way to do it, to win 2 races to win the title.
Yeah, it gives it a bit more sort of...
I'm dreaming.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives it a bit more sort of credit, doesn't it? You can't just luck into 2 of them, surely, back to back.
No.
But, you know, we'll see how it pans out when we get there. We have got the grid lining up. No one's on the hard compound tyres. Most are on mediums. Only 6 of them on the softs, so that leaves you with 12 on medium. Casper is pointing so far to the right. So good luck, Risky. If you get a good start, that could be fireworks into turn 1. It's sunset conditions here at Silverstone, and when the firelights go out, let's see how Casper gets away with this one. They've been held a long time. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. And Risky didn't get the start he needed. And Casper covered him off pretty much perfectly, even if he did. Round the outside goes Corey now. And he's going to be up into second place. Will Risky be brave on the brakes? Will he want to just preserve his podium position? He does just that. Oh, but Corey loses a little bit of the rail on the exit. And sort of forces Risky onto the grass. He's down to P6 now. What about Jake O'Sullivan? Slow-ish in qualifying for his standards. He's got Arnold, who had a Fanatec problem, and he hit the pit wall on the way out of the for his formation lap. That's why he qualified so low down. He'll have a point to prove, and it's just more of his bad luck, isn't it? That Fanatec goes on the way out of the pits and he can't steer. It's just typical, isn't it? Casper was doing a little bit of weaving down the Wellington Straight, but he's got nearly a second's advantage over Corey Dalton. A great start for him. Johannes, our winner from Tuesday, he's been in the wall. He's lost, I think, the whole front wing off of his car. Yeah. And there's no safety car for it. That's going to put him a long, long way down.
And that is the risk, that winning a race puts you, well, not even potentially, it puts you at the back of the grid with all the danger.
No, there's been a few cars. There's been a few cars off at Magus and Beckett as well. I can't believe we've all survived that. I think Waitsy and Robin were all over the show. Waitsy was all over the show, but Robin was flat out just off. So, a bit of a chaotic sort of first lap of this race. Somehow, we've still got all 18 cars.
Yeah, Casper looks good, doesn't he? Again. He's not put it together yet this season, but he does look good. And I was in his DMs after Tuesday night. I said, that first win is coming. But you are looking at a multiple race winner this season. He hasn't done it yet, but he will. And expect him to be there in the Championship 5 at the end of the season.
I was watching just the outboard view there, and Arnold had a proper snap on the way into turn 3. That's not going to do the tyres any good whatsoever. These tyres, I have to say, based on Tuesday, we're not expecting these to last very long out here, especially if you are on the softs, as Mike goes almost completely off to a different postcode there and nearly loses it, as Corey picked up a penalty for warnings already. I was going to say, if you're on softs, you've got to get the move done for the lead quickly before the tyres go up. That's why Corey's pushing so much, but he's pushed too hard and got a penalty. So he'll get past Casper, but he'll then have to make a 3-second gap. So let's see. I say he'll get past. Casper's had a good exit out of Chapel. I expect these soft tyres to last maybe another 2 or 3 laps before they need to be into the pits, really. And Corey, well, he's not got the job done. And Jake O'Sullivan, he'll be eyeing an opportunity, but he's gone way wide at Stowe. That could be a warning for him. And Arnold, he's looking up the inside. He was never going to make that move stick, but he's just letting Jake know he's there, because as soon as those tyres drop off, Arnold will become the danger man. He's the fastest man on track anyway. And Casper, well, he's not been able to beat DRS. He's got Plenty of pressure. Risky is now within DRS as well of Arnold, so this could become a five-way scrap. Ben Shaw struggling for pace somewhat. He's got sort of that second train behind him with Ben Harrett and Baza and Pete and well, they've sort of broken away from Gareth Hall, in fact, and that's a proper train all the way down to 16th. So, yeah, drivers sort of breaking up into their own groups already. But pit stops, I mean, they could really be from any point now, couldn't they?
They sure could. And you sort of semi-took the words out of my mouth there. I was going to bring up Sullivan Lewis to you. Despite that poor start, he went from P2 down to P6, sideways into turn 3. He's recovered that ground lost, and he's very much part of the lead train, the fight for the win, as we look at it, as Ben Shaw is leading the peloton, if you will. So exciting times for Sullivan Lewis. It's maybe he's not the one race a season wonder that we assumed he might be. He has genuine pace on this game. Yellow flags.
Yuri was all over the show there for Chapel. He never actually left the track, I don't think, but he had to probably put the brakes on as Arnaud comes through on Jake O'Sullivan. And is that Jake having problems again at Stowe? Because it's very unusual to get the run down to the Vale chicane and actually get the move done, but he's managed to do it, has Arnaud.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ben Harrett pushing Pete Knighton through the final two corners. No love lost between those two. Great rivalry. It really is good to see. It's still flourishing here in season 12. But Pete Knighton managed to retain a position, as you say, Owen. Arnaud up to third and looking very lively. Corey has got to do something quick. Otherwise, he is falling into the clutches of Arnaud before Casper is.
I wonder what the visibility is like when you're sort of driving in towards the sun. It might not be too distracting after a couple of laps, but when it's a clear sort of no clouds and you've got a low sun, people always complain about this on the likes of Kota in previous F1 games. Do you remember all that down to turn 12? Oh, you got to run this at midday. I don't want to have the sun in my eyes. Well, you're going to have the sun in your eyes all over the show here, aren't you? So I wonder if that's going to cause any problems at some point in this race. I think Corey might be into the pits this lap because I think those tyres look a bit spent to me.
Oh, there you go.
And
encouraging signs for Arnaud.
Well, Arnaud is his ERT mate, isn't he? So he won't want to hold him up too much. And obviously these two have a decent working relationship in the Cup Series, as Corey has a really bad run through Stowe and he will be into the pits. Yellow flags behind this for Mike Kelterborn. Don't know if he's actually got any damage, but he's been off as Corey speeds into the pit lane.
It's every week the big names seem to make these mistakes, isn't it?
And the problem with this when it happens so early into the race as well is that your head's gone. You've got a few moments in the pit lane to try and calm down, but the second you come out, and especially when people around you pit and maybe you've undercut them, you think, well, if only I didn't have this penalty, and you'll be driving angry for the rest of the evening. He'll be looking possibly for a little bit of safety car help, but I mean, even at that point, that would only put him back onto the train he'll inevitably fall off of because of this penalty on his second stop. So Corey, he's given himself a lot of work to do there.
Yep, sure has. Not that anything's happening with him, but Johannes down in P18. No need to move the camera, and I was just going to say to the lovely viewers that Johannes, obviously in his second season now in the Cup Series, he is in his 24th start, and that is a record for most starts before the first DNF of anybody in Jackocar Cup and Kia Series. So despite the fact he's now only 17th, he would like to get to the end, I'm sure, and carry on that streak and have a certainly unbeatable record in the future. That's
a really impressive record, that.
Really impressive. And he runs at the top of the field as well, you know, always P2. So, yeah. You think how this league goes and the crashes we have, it is a really, really impressive stat.
And the crash he had on lap 1, you know, to get away with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just looking at the battle for P7 here, because okay, he's on the back of Gareth, and he's just sort of proving, I suppose, with a car that's not got any damage on it, he does seem to have some pace, which is encouraging, as Gareth has a moment, as we have been worrying that he may slip out of the top 20 with reserves and stuff. But I mean, he could be on for passing Gareth here, and I just want to point out, I mean, this is a very similar game, I suppose, in philosophy to 24. And towards the end of season 10, which was on F1 24, OKK and Pete always find themselves on the same piece of the racetrack, and they were always quite high up before things inevitably went wrong, as Yuri has a moment and is down to 11. But the point is, OKK, if you can get by Gareth, next car up for him will be Pete, and once again they'll find themselves in a decent top 10 position. So maybe this sort of philosophy of game does suit these two quite well, and it'd be good to see them both together on track again. I just hope it doesn't go wrong Miami style, because Miami really was painful. They were fighting for P4 and P5 that day, and they put it into the wall. So it didn't really help. But look at Pete, though. He may not have to worry about it, because he's got himself past Baza as Arnaud comes into the pits. Quite an early stop for someone on the medium tyres, but he's clearly trying to play some strategy games here.
Yep, and going back to your battle about OKK, Gareth and Pete there, Baza in the middle of all of that, he's certainly no slouch, is he? Like, the competition level is very, very high these days. Obviously, there's a clear gap between groups 1 and 2, but the second group, they're a lot closer together than what we've seen in the past. And, like, Pete's overtaken Baza, but Baza is very much there, in that cracking livery as well, by the way.
Baza, I think, was the upper driver alongside Mike Kelterborn, who on the short track on 2020 really gave a defensive masterclass. So he likes it here. And of course he's the most recent winner out of the 4 that we're talking about. So as you say, he's no slouch. He knows how to win a Jackocar race. And
only
doing
4
well
races
today.
ago.
Indeed, it was a very recent in terms of sort of the fact that, I mean, Gareth's not won a race for, must be about 3 years now. OKK, 5 years.
Well,
and Pete as well.
Gareth is 70 races. Michael OKK is 170 races, and of course Pete 186. Michael's race win coming in Monza Season 2, which would have been around this time.
That's what I'm saying, it's been around the 5 years, hasn't it?
5 years ago, crazy.
For him as well. As Baza into the pits, following Ben Shaw and Risky in, and none of them are spared. Arnaud didn't speed either. He was jumped by Corey, but he is on hard compound tyres, which should have some pretty good sort of longevity. And Casper has stayed out, so this should be helping the undercut for these two. So even though Corey had the penalty, he may well end up with track position. Where's Risky going to end up? Risky, we're not getting any good view of him. He can see Jake O'Sullivan, but he's not in DRS of him. And Jake's nowhere near DRS of Arnold and Corey. And look at that, that's Yuri just having a mare, and there's contact between him and Corey. And Arnold may get involved. This is a very, very risky part of the race for these two. Navigating last season's race winner here. And I tell you what, that could have been an airplane crash. There was a massive amount of contact between Corey and Yuri on the exit on towards the Wellington Straight there.
Yep, and a proper NASCAR pass as well, as Arnold drafted Corey through Yuri as they're battling through cops now. Yuri not giving up on it, but unfortunately to no avail. Arnold looks so quick here, and of course Corey flustered with those 2 penalties that he's got.
Okay, closing, but not quite close enough for the move on Gareth.
Arnold through.
They're now fighting for a podium, these two, with Pete Knight into the pits and getting a 10-second penalty.
No. He looks so good as well, did Pete? Oh, OKK almost round. Saves it.
And Yuri's also nearly gone round as Corey went off at Stowe, so they're struggling with the track conditions here. But Arnold into that free air now, and I don't really know where Gareth and OKK will end up. I think they're still fighting for around P10 really when all the pit stops shake out, but I mean it could be a bit higher with penalties actually. But they're both having a good race, which for the pair of them actually has been a bit of a rarity this season. I think Gareth had an alright one on Tuesday, coming through from the back, but I think he'll be looking for a couple of top 5s, won't he, at some point this season?
Absolutely. So will OKK with this pace.
The thing is, he's also he saves a lot of his ERS here as well. I mean, Gareth's probably had to use all of his up, so they may be getting undercut, these two, but they are pushing each other around, and that'll help their pace. As OKK just ignores track limits, a bit like how they were doing on Tuesday, but so it didn't seem to be giving them penalties then either.
So nice to see OKK driving well, and I'm going to say no more. I think I've said enough.
Oh, Gareth's had a moment.
That's going to be encouraging for OKK.
Here comes the overtake. I still don't think OKK's using enough ERS. He is being sensible in a sense here, because you don't want to blow all the ERS and be vulnerable. And they've got 4.5 seconds to Arnold. But I tell you what, if these two get a safety car now, and obviously Casper as well, who's goal hounding once again. I mean, this helps them like quite a lot, because I mean, Casper's
massive
got
snap.
A huge
Here comes
lead.
OKK.
Yeah, but he's only pushing him. He's only pushing him down the main straight.
He's losing time, Owen. He's the faster driver here.
He is. Risky is the fast S driver. He's into DRS of Jake O'Sullivan now on his hard compound tyre. He's finding good pace with those. If he can get by Jake O'Sullivan, then it's another 2.5 seconds to get up to Corey, who's now outside the DRS range of Arnold. So I'd say Arnold's our net race leader at the moment, even though Casper is enjoying a load of free air out front. The thing that will come back to help him is the fact he'll be on, more than likely, mediums and then soft, so maybe softs and mediums, whereas Arnold, well, he's obviously on a hard at the moment. Yeah. As OKK all over the grass, side by side towards Cox.
Send it, man. He's teasing us. We've not seen this for a long time. It's so good to see.
He's absolutely battering every curve, isn't he?
He'll be laughing as well through this. You can hear him, can't you?
Yeah. I hope he just doesn't distract himself as Casper comes into the pits. If these two stay out, it could be for the lead of the race, this. Granted, Arnold's all over the back of him.
And Owen, the last time Michael OKK led a race?
He's pitting.
Never mind. Season 5 when he crashed out on the final corner.
Right, don't mess this up. He's not spared into the pits, but it's a good point. It's season 6 actually, wasn't it? It was my first race.
Was it 6?
My first race in Salford, when we had a horrendous connection, a bit like my first race in this flat.
The other day.
Yeah, but yeah, it was OKK wheel banging with Jamie Griffiths into the Vale chicane, and it ended up with OKK spinning round and Jamie Griffiths winning his most recent race, only his second in the Cup Series. Both of these drivers have 2 in the Cup Series, but yeah, he's got. I suppose that does back up his pace, doesn't it? Though. And sorry, forget that. We do have a lead battle, don't we? The thing with this is that Jake's sort of in the middle of all this, isn't he? So, not Jake, Gareth's in the middle of all this, so that's not helping his cause at all, is it?
He won't mind.
Well, he won't mind, but...
the screen time is what he wants. Attention.
He didn't get much of it because I wasn't watching it too much, but as Corey gets a second penalty. Casper's behind Risky, by the way, so I mean, he's got the tyre offset. He should be able to sort of come through on these guys, but he's no longer than the net leader, we'll say that much. But yeah, we know OKK's good round here. We also know that Jamie Griffiths, in theory, should be good round here, but he's only sort of languishing in P12 at the moment. Here comes Casper on the inside of Risky. I think Risky's going to be sensible here. I say sensible, he's gone off the track. That could always give you a penalty, really, but he's not made contact with his rival. He is also ahead of Jake O'Sullivan, but I think he'll be able to sort of stay ahead. He seems quite comfortable. Look at this from Gareth Hall. Really making life difficult here for Casper. And I think he's going to fight this through turn 1. He does, but it has to back off in the end. He didn't want to cause an accident. I'm sure he'll let Risky go.
Yep.
And he does.
And Jake's gonna
he's
steal that
not.
as well, or does he send it up the inside, Gareth Hall?
Oh, what's wrong with you, Gareth?
Boring.
That's very boring. Well then.
Race. Sullivan. Nearly halfway through this race. Still there.
He's in a genuine podium position at the minute. Because Corey's got, what, 16 seconds of penalties at the minute? So this is third place we're looking at for him. And he's only about 4 seconds off the race lead at the moment, but it does feel like Arnold's got this under control at the minute. I say that though, but he always has divine intervention getting his way. A bit like Casper, really, who are the two drivers ahead of Risky Net
Casper's
at the moment.
flying. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll hold the line on that. Pete, by the way, he's got Baza and Waitsy behind him, and I wonder if this is going to become a bit of a scrap. Waitsy's had a bit of a messy race so far, losing it through here on lap 1. I don't know if he had help, but he should be able to get past Baza relatively trouble-free. Coming through the Heiner Straight. Maybe not, actually. Again, Baz is defending hard. Right around the outside goes Waitsy. He'll be surely sent off the road. He is. But he does get ahead of Baza, who doesn't throw it back up the inside. And that's up to P9 for him. Will soon become P8 because Gareth Hall is into the pits. And will find himself on a fresh set of the mediums. And he'll fall way down the field now, won't he? He'll be about sort of 15th, 16th maybe. Possibly even lower, because he lost so much time mucking about, didn't he? He'll be 17th coming out of the pits here with Gareth Hall, so, yes. I mean, awfully entertaining.
He's not far off last, is he? Here comes Mike.
I say that, he may actually get passed by Mike. Here he is, he's last. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh! Well, that was a bit unnecessary, wasn't it? Is that done his front wing in? Yes. Yep. Oh, nice one, Gareth.
Oh dear, Gareth.
Really well driven there by the old man.
He's already, he can pit this lap if he wants to for another set of mediums.
He might need to.
Yeah. Oh dear. And you can't blame the German there. That was all Gareth.
Just want to point out that unless we get a safety car, we're really not going to see anything from Ben Shaw, I don't think. Because he's 7 seconds away from the car in front, but also 7 seconds away from the car behind. So he's sort of just in no man's land, isn't he? As Corey Dalton takes his second pit stop at the earliest possible opportunity. Casper setting the fastest lap. Yeah, so poor Ben, basically, is what I'm saying. We're just going to give him a little bit of attention now because, the race just isn't really going to feature him too much. And look at how long this is taking for Corey Dalton. I mean, it always feels like longer than 10 seconds when you're sat watching it, doesn't it?
Sure does. And that, of course, benefits everybody behind him. Sullivan, Jake, Casper, who had got past him, but it puts him out of the race now, doesn't it? And unless there's a safety car. I don't think the race needs a safety car, not yet. Normally we get these races where they can be a bit boring and you need the intervention, but this one seems to be going quite okay. Ben Harrott is last and Corey is 17th.
I tell you what, actually, Ben Shaw might actually get to see another car because for that 10-second penalty, that might actually give Ben a chance to race somebody. So maybe I spoke too soon on him, assuming he doesn't go and make any mistakes himself. Gareth's still all over the back of Mike, and I did see, I was riding on board with Corey when he came out of the pits, and Mike spun. I was about to say, Gareth was still pushing it very hard. So it's a shame that Mike's lost the car there because that could have been quite a good battle between those two. But alas, he's gone off.
Jacob Sullivan pits and just about gets it slowed down. That was so nearly a penalty.
Casper continues to set fastest laps here. The thing is, he's using the tyre offset. He must be going to a set of softs at the end, but that might require quite a late pit stop. So it's all great and wonderful having the pace now, but if Arnold pits this lap to, say, cover Jake, he'll end up with a massive undercut for a good 5-6 laps. So I do wonder, actually, if Casper's doing the right thing, because he'll need to be a good second a lap quicker than these guys at the end of the race, because they're going to undercut him by some distance, assuming there's no safety cars, and with Robin all over the back of Jamie Griffiths and Yuri just behind, no guarantees there won't be any accidents. OKK is passed Wes on the last lap as well, but he's got Jake O'Sullivan around him too. Here's Robin outside of Jamie Griffiths. That's a very tidy move. As we'll not mention that.
Yeah.
Didn't see anything there. As Robin,
I was on board with him.
Well, I wasn't. So. that was just in the back of my shot there. Is what that was. Actually, I probably should look at it. It didn't affect anyone around him, did it? Because Corey Dalton did come through, and he's not got any damage or anything. Right, Casper's about to overtake Arnaud. So if I'm Arnaud, it's time to pit. No, okay, he'll stay out for another lap. I think Jake O'Sullivan will be hoping he can get by Wace really quickly here, because if he can, then Arnold sending out another lap is great news for him. But at the minute, caught in all this dirty air through Magnus and
Wace
Beckett.
goes wide.
Wace is wide, but that's just going to make things a little bit more difficult for Jake, because he had to sort of hold back a bit there. That wasn't the smoothest overtake. I mean, he couldn't have made it much easier for himself, because he just sort of caught him at the wrong time. But still, Jake, he's doing the undercut at the minute, but again, it's on hard compound tyres. Arnold will surely pit for some mediums or softs, so it depends really what Casper does. I think if Casper gets him this lap, he'll be in for mediums. Maybe if he can hold on for a few more laps, maybe it will be some softs. As we say, it's all about options, and well, I suppose both the top two have plenty of options.
Yeah.
Yellow
blacks.
Right. I don't know what for.
Is it Yuri again?
It's Yuri again. I guess he's probably caught a case of broken floor, hasn't he? Is what I'd assume has happened to him here, because this is unnatural, really. He won this race last season. He's won in Silverstone before a couple of times, hasn't he? So,
yep.
This
Kia
is
Series. Did he get 3 wins here? I believe over the 8 seasons.
I think he's won plenty, hasn't he? I don't know the exact number, but he's won enough races for me to know that that's not normal for him to be struggling this much. Arnold, he stays out again. Do you know what? He's holding Casper off very well here, but I just don't know what that's doing to the pace. The going round in 1 minute 30.6 was Arnold's last lap here. I'm expecting Jake O'Sullivan to be in the 28s on this lap, assuming he's had a nice click. He's had DRS off OKK there as well.
He had an awful run through Maggots and Beckett, so he was all over the curbs. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe
OKK's slow to let him through.
Well, if it's still in the 29s, then maybe I think it's still good looking pace. As Ben gets a penalty, Ben Harrett, and okay, well, maybe now he's got a fully clear track, Jake O'Sullivan. Maybe this would be the proper way of testing, but he was still half a second quicker than Arnold, even though we had traffic to deal with. So that does worry me.
Casper's looking lively for a pass here to the inside before Cops.
Oh, hello.
Nice and easy. Just enough room for Arnold to survive.
And he gets done by the dirty air as well there, does Arnold. He had to fully left off. That'll be into the pits. Has to be now. As we have Yuri again. He's in the wall this time, so I don't really want this to be what causes a safety car, but we obviously don't like people retiring their cars in the pits and the like, so I suppose you'll just have to sort of stick with it. But that, yeah, it's an undrivable car is what that is.
On our pits.
Don't speed, don't speed, don't speed, don't speed, don't speed. That's well behaved.
Yeah, it's always better to take a bit off than go a little bit too much.
Yeah, come on, Yuri. Get this under control. Because, again, this will get in the way of the leaders before long. Because he'll be lapped in a moment. By the way, just want to point out that OKK has stuck with Jake O'Sullivan here. So I don't know if Jake's had a problem or if OKK is just that fast. But let's see what Jake's lap is this time in clear air. Just about in the 29s. I was thinking 28s. Maybe if you want to fresh out a medium just salt, should be doing that. But Arnold, long way clear.
Yeah, well clear. And we were all saying Jake O'Sullivan had this race in the bag. But it's the Arnold and Casper show. It's the battle of strategies. 2 totally different strategies. Who will prevail? Obviously, Casper fully committed to soft tyres at this point. Does he want a safety car, or does he want to do it genuinely? We don't often get these strategy races, do we, Owen? It's almost, I dare say, interesting to see. I want to see how it pans out.
It is fascinating because, like I say, what we've got with Casper, we said it at his first stop, he ends up with the most options of anyone here, doesn't he? He can stay out for as long as he wants because he knew he'll have the tyre offset, even on this stint still. So he does have options, but I mean, look at this for Arnold. This is the thing that Casper maybe won't have to deal with, is all the traffic when he comes out of the pits, because I mean, that's affected Jake, it's affecting Arnold. Will he get past the Waitsy, who also has DRS? He's going to have to send it, and he does get through. and he was given space by Woutze in fairness, but it didn't look like the easiest of moves there. And now he's got to pass Pete Knighton, who's had a very, very bad run for the last 2 quarters, and that's almost into the back for Arnaud. Oh, and he doesn't want to pass yet because he would like the DRS to try and undo some of the damage. Will he send it? No, he won't send it. He'll get DRS. He can pass whenever he wants now, but he'll have the DRS on. Oh, and Pete hits him as well, which isn't very nice of him. But
that's good.
Arnaud's through, and he's gotten through the most difficult part of his race. I'd say is what that is. Let's see what he can do now in free air.
I do love Arnaud's style of driving. He has fully embraced the Jackocar way, elbows out, sending it in places where you probably shouldn't. He is the embodiment of a Jackocar driver. He's on a list. You also see the likes of Sullivan, Lewis, Ben Shaw, Pete Knighton. They are the Jackocar drivers in terms of how I want them to drive. Corey Dalton as well from time to time. But he's boring when he's dominating races, is Corey. Casper pits from the lead.
Jacob Sullivan now is having to deal with the same traffic issues, and he's got a penalty now, but he's having to deal with the same issues that we saw earlier on for Arnaud, and the issues that these two are racing in front of him, and they've made contact, and Jake's just sort of sandwiched in here. Will he get past the pair of them? He will get past the pair of them. And Casper, as I suspected, he has gone for sauce. Risky's gone for mediums. What will work? We'll find out. Arnaud, still not into the 28s, but he was held up quite a lot. He should still lead the race, though. He does lead the race. But the thing is, will Casper's tyres last 7 laps? That's a long time. Genuinely, that's a really long time. I don't know if that's possible.
Should they last 7 laps, Owen?
No, I don't think they should.
On this game.
I don't think they should. Casper takes the lead, but he's going to have to use the tyres. But I just don't know how much he can use them. I really doubt they'll last 7 laps. I don't think they're going to blow up on him. I just don't think they'll have much life in them by the time he gets to even lap 25, maybe lap 24. So Arnaud, this is just a time to stay calm and protect the tyres, I think. What he really doesn't want to happen, Arnaud, now is a safety car. He needs this to be full pace to the end so that he can take the most advantage out of what could be seriously wearing tyres for
He's got to be careful of cutting corners as well. Let's have a nice straight shoot to the end, boys. Keep it clean, no penalties. And which strategy will prevail here? Casper Klein, he's chasing race win number 14. Arnaud de Grief chasing number 19, the all-time points leader in Jackocar. As Jamie Griffiths leaves the session, no crash though. Lap 20 completed, leaves us with 6 to go.
OKK's pitted there, so that releases Risky, who needs to get to within 3 seconds of Jake O'Sullivan to earn himself a first podium of the season. So he's got to find about 2.5 seconds. He's got the better tyres, he's got the softer tyres, newer tyres. It's all in his favour, in theory. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, he's gone for the softs as well on his pit stop. I was worried that Ben Shaw wouldn't have anyone to fight, but he does. He's up the inside here of Robin, who's, in fairness, not made his second stop yet, so that's why these two have ended up with each other. But, he's just... A quiet race for him is not the end of the world, because it would still... Oh, he's got a penalty there. That was
You knew
clumsy.
it was coming as well. Yeah.
But yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, him just minding his own business. Like I say, that penalty doesn't really hurt him, because he's got no one near him. It doesn't hurt him at all. But, it just, a quiet race. He picks up the points. They all count. So, we'll see how this goes for him later on. Johannes is up to P8 now, and he's not got any penalties, but again, he's got such a massive gap in front of him. He's going to be looking behind him more than in front of him for the last 6 laps of this race, because he's got everyone behind him on new tyres. And again, his tyres are going to have to go, 13 laps? The entire second half of the way. Well, I say that, but the entire second half of the race, that's just a huge undercut he's done. I don't think those tyres are going to have anything resembling rubber on them by the end of this race, so he could find himself tumbling towards the back, I would have thought. As Risky makes his job a little bit harder. He's now got to catch and pass Jake O'Sullivan. He's got a 3-second time penalty. Arnaud, by the way, he's doing a great job. All he has to do is stay in the DRS of Casper. I think when Casper's tires start to go off, that's when Arnaud will be able to pounce. And I just don't think Casper's going to have the tires. This will be really fascinating to see how this pans out.
Of course, 2 drivers this season who are yet to win a race. Last time Casper won was 26 races ago. As for Arnaud, 3 races ago when he picked up his championship down under. And they are giving us a hell of a strategy battle here as we are now inside 5 to go. Through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel they come. Casper's tyres, you can already feel them starting to go. Arnaud looks like he may just have it covered. Penalty for Yori. Jake O'Sullivan stretches his lead over Sullivan Lewis as well, who's had a great run. And by the way, Corey back up to 6th, despite the 10-second penalty.
Better not, he's 5th. But the thing is with that, though...
That's what I meant, yeah, sorry.
The thing is with that, though, is he actually... I mean, he's 10 seconds behind Jake, so is he actually only... He would have only been really 4th on pace anyway, wouldn't he? Add his 6 seconds of penalties...
Yeah,
he may have ended up P5 anyway, so it's a bit of a shame that Corey actually, his pace, as it turns out, it's not really materialised, has it? In the way we were hoping it would. Johannes is fighting back against Waitzer, who passed him down the Wellington straight, and now he's got him back into the Heiner straight. But like I say, this is difficult times for him, because these tyres are not going to get any better anytime soon. Waitser's had a problem. He's lost half his front wing down the Heiner straight. I don't know if he's hit someone. You'd have to assume he's hit someone.
It's alright. I was watching Ben Harrett and Gareth. Gareth come across the front of Ben Harrett to pit. God, that could have been an accident there.
He's not hit Gareth, has he?
No.
I wonder if that's what's happened.
Went right across him.
That's in Wace. As Wace and Gareth come together. I wonder if that's what's happened. Wouldn't put it past either of them. But yes, back with Johannes. I think this is the most interesting part of the race at the minute, because he's gonna get overtaken again, and that was a very, very late move by Waitzy. That was risky stuff. Can he get this done all the way around outside? Sure, he's going to be showing the gravel there, and he is. But Johannes, in fairness, he's left in just about enough space, but he's defending brilliantly to still somehow be 7th at the moment. Round the outside, Waitzy into Cops. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work unless you're completely ahead already going in. But to come from behind, that's crazy. Into Magus and Beckett. Look at Baza, look at OKK. They both really want to get involved, and there's a massive Constantina effect on the way through. Johannes he's a roadblock, is what he is at the minute. Look at OKK now. He thought about it on Baza, but here comes Waitsy, and now he's through. And Johannes didn't defend it this time. What a great midfield battle this is. It may not be over yet. Here comes OKK down the inside of Baza.
Go on.
We know it's gone wrong here for him before, and this time he leaves the space. He remembers season 6 as well. And he's ahead. He's on those soft compound tyres as well, so again, we don't know how long they'll last, but they should be better than Johannes is at the minute.
Let's say it whilst we have the opportunity, Owen. Welcome back to Jackocar, Michael OKK. This is what he always used to do, even in the ILR days. What a driver he is.
Baz's
and
back
really
on the inside.
Bazza having a sniff. OKK can sniff a P7 here. It really is a possibility. Of course, Johannes with no penalties, it'd be an uphill struggle. Inside of 3.
Again, these are the two absolute sort of OGs, aren't they, of the 18 season long Thursday Night League, the ILR and Jackocar. These two have been around basically right from the very start, haven't they? So they very much know how each other race.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Owen, if I said to you 175 races, add 214 combined for 389 starts between Michael OKK and Barry Baldwin. Unreal levels of experience. Yellow flags stay out for Jori Haselager, who's not had a very good day of it. We are coming to the close here. Arnaud, who was 1.2 behind, he lost a gap, or gave a gap to Casper.
Well, let's not mention it. Let's just not mention what's happened there.
He is now back within half a second. I didn't see what happened. Wellington straight for the penultimate time this evening. The Finn leads the Belgian. Which way is this going to go then? 2 guys who have yet to win a race this season, not even followed closely by Jake O'Sullivan. So are we looking at another last lap pass? Casper lost the reverse layout on Tuesday night with a moment. Is Arnaud going to get it on merit here, or does Casper have something in him to hold off the current reigning champion in Jackocar? Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, yellow flags out once again. Like I said earlier, Arnaud chasing race win number 19 in the DRS. He has to get it done on track. There are no penalties. Down into Stowe Corner. And Casper Klein, of course, he's chasing race win number 14. He's trying to chase a championship. He dearly loved one in Jackocar. The final complex of corners for the penultimate time. He still has the advantage, but Arnaud is still there. And guess what, Owen Wyatt? It's 1 lap to go in Great Britain here in Jackocar. Over to you.
So what Casper's done here, which is very smart, is he's saved a hell of a lot of ERS. Now, he often does this. He's very good at sort of managing his ERS. And, well, he's got effectively a full tank here to defend with. So even if the tyres are gone, Arnaud has half a tank left. So, gotta say, even if the tyres aren't doing too well, Casper's race management is absolutely keeping him in front at the moment. So all he has to do is not have any snaps, please. Let's not do that again. Because he meshes me the other night. He could hear the disappointment when when we saw it go wrong for him. So we know he'll be watching. He knows we're expecting a win from him from this point, because he's done all the hard work. Now he just has to finish it all off, as we continue to see problems behind for, I think that was Jimmy Griffiths. With he's slowing down for something. I don't know what he's slowing down for, but he's not got any problems, I don't think. But Casper, 0.8 of a second clear of Arnaud. They've both used up their ERS now. It's just about getting to the line. And for Casper, he has had a win taken off him here in the past. Arnaud had a look there, but he was just never going to be closing it, was he? Casper Klein, round the final corner. He didn't win it on Tuesday. He gets his redemption on Thursday, and Casper wins here in Silverstone. Arnaud is second, and we didn't see any of this. Risky has got ahead of Jake O'Sullivan. I said he had to make the gap. He just about has, but he's run out of fuel. Just about get the podium. I think he did let him have it.
Yeah.
But that was Risky. Genuinely was out of fuel there as he came out of the final quarter. So very lucky to get across the line there, and Jake maybe being, just a bit kinder there to him to let him have the podium. Corey ends up in 5th, and what's the need? What's the need for that for Jamie Griffiths? We had all drivers finishing the race, for goodness sake, and you've gone and retired it on track. That's I think what do we call that in the business? A race ban?
1 or 3, I can't remember which number exactly, but it is a race ban if it's a rage quit.
I think that's just a petty quit. It's not even a rage quit. That's just a petty quit. I mean, look at Yuri, who's survived with a horrendously damaged car.
Survived to pick up a single point as well.
Yeah, you just no need to retire the car at that stage. I don't get it. Just finish the race, then we can have a stat for the books. It's not very often all drivers finish a Jackocar race. Anyway, Wes is the last of the finishers on track. Obviously, Yuri did finish a while ago, but he is still on that 25, I think. So the last to actually finish the race is Wes in 16th. But our podium is going to be Casper ahead of Arnaud, ahead of Risky, who's had a very good week at Silverstone. And in fairness, even though Casper didn't win the other day, I mean, he's had 2 podiums. Arnaud's had 2 second places, I think. So, I mean, actually, all 3 of these people, they'll be pretty pleased leaving Silverstone.
Yeah, you would be, wouldn't you? I think the standout driver across both nights, take your pick. Casper Klein minus the mistake on Tuesday. Arnaud he's doing the Johannes roll and finishing P2 both races. Sullivan with a 4th and a 3rd. One of those top 3, they'd be more than happy. I don't think Johannes would be too mad either. What a recovery. P1 on Tuesday, P7 this evening. That was our championship leader coming tonight. The way it goes now, I understand it is Arnaud de Grief leads it by a point, or is level with Johannes. Yeah,
Couldn't tell you.
Something like that. The points are very, very close. Jake in there as well.
And yeah, Johannes, first thing he says in the chat post race is his tyres were over 75% on the front left. I thought they'd be worse than that. Actually, they were talking they were over the 80s on the reverse layout. They were over 80.
That's what
there.
I did Tuesday, and you had to go.
I know. I mean, I've been saying it all night as well. But yeah, we did see the tyre wear problems on Tuesday, but they weren't actually as bad tonight. I think that was a lot better than it could have been. So yeah, pretty successful race.
That was a really good race. I enjoyed that.
And
Don't always need safety cars, folks.
And Jamie Griffiths there he's complaining about how the track just has bad traction now, Silverstone, after it got laser scanned. It's no excuse though, is it? We're gonna have to ban him for a race, I think. There, he's pissed me off, so that's enough to ban him, I think. We were that close to all drivers finishing. I don't want to see his AI, parking up on the exit of turn 2. I'm not having that.
It will go to the stewards, but let's not let that ruin the, let's say, a perfect week, reform week. Double Silverstone, you can't go wrong with that. Sullivan, Casper, on out. What a top 3. I think we should leave it there, Owen. That was really good. We'd love to tell you where we are next week, but we just don't know.
This is it. You'll have to join us to find out, won't you? And that'll be Tuesday once again, won't it? Tuesday and Thursday next week for rounds 5 and 6 of the Season 12 Cup Series. I know, round 5 and 6 already. It's going to go by like that. So we will see you next week for 2 more, hopefully exciting races. Safe travels and, yeah, all the rest of it.